Hello students, let us continue this new session. We will work for CR equations in polar form here, and thereafter we will continue with the problems on polar form only. Okay, so previous sessions we learned what are complex functions, how do we take limits, continuity, the differentiability, what is an analytic function, and also we work for the condition for an analytic function, a function to be analytic in Cartesian form, that is we work for CR equations in Cartesian form, and also we saw about two problems in my previous session. Now not always you will have a function which is Cartesian with you. Okay, you may end up with a function where you need to take a polar coordinates. That time you also need the CR equations in polar form. Okay, so let us derive them and then let us go back with the problems with in polar form. Okay, when the equation is given in the polar form, or sometimes it becomes very necessary for you to consider the polar form of Z instead of the Cartesian form. Okay, in that case how do you work with the problem and find its derivative? So that all things are very important for you. So let us see, let us continue. If f of Z is any function which is expressed in polar form, that is u of r theta plus I into v of r theta, it's any a complex function, then the necessary and sufficient condition for your f of Z to be analytic is the four partial derivatives dou u by dou r, dou v by dou theta, dou v by dou r and dou v by dou theta must exist, and they must be continuous at a defined point, and these the partial derivatives must satisfy the equations dou u by dou r is equal to 1 by r dou v by dou theta and dou v by dou r is equal to minus 1 by r dou u by dou theta. Okay, so these are the CR equations in polar form. Okay, these are the CR equations in polar form. You need to remember this very clearly. Okay, so let's start with the proof. Let us consider that the function is analytic. So if it is analytic, then your f dash of Z must exist. Okay, it must exist. And how do you take the derivative of f of Z with respect to Z? By basic definition I have taken it. So f dash of Z is equal to limit f of Z plus delta Z minus f of Z divided by delta Z. Call this as equation 1. But since the function has been defined with the help of u and v, so we have written u of r plus delta r, because there is a change in delta r and delta theta brings a change in delta Z. So I have to replace, like in previous sessions when we were deriving CR equations in Cartesian form, we took everywhere x plus delta x, y plus delta y. Likewise here also we have having in place of x and y you have got r and theta. Look at this, you have got r and theta. With respect to that we are going to take u of r plus delta r comma theta plus delta theta plus I into v of r plus delta r comma theta plus delta theta. This is going to define my f of Z plus delta Z minus f of Z. You have already just replace it and keep with the negative sign divided by delta Z as it is. Now the next step here, what I have done is I just separated the real and imaginary part. This is the real part, this is the real part, separated. This is the imaginary part, even this is the imaginary part, so write it in a separate bracket. Okay, nothing else we have done here. So after this we'll continue with how to take my delta Z. Okay, now earlier it was very simple. When delta Z was defined in terms of x and y, delta Z was taken as delta x plus I delta y. So it was very easy and very simple to consider it. But this time your Z has to be written in polar form. Now in the very first session I have told you what is Z in polar form. Z in polar form is written as r into e to power I theta, r into e to power I theta. So when you are given with r into e to power I theta, you can see the two variables r and theta, they are kept in the product form, I should say. So when it comes with the product form, the u into v rule follows, is it not? So in that case you have to consider the partial differential, if you remember. So how do you take the differential delta Z? Okay, so in the very first semester you'll have learnt about it. How do you take delta Z whenever you have the function like this? It's Z is depending on r and theta. Okay, how do you take the partial derivative of Z with respect to r and theta like that? So you consider delta Z, you can write it as dou Z by dou r into delta r plus dou Z by dou theta into delta theta. Okay, so if you remember this step, it's very easy for you. Now delta Z will be dou Z by dou r. What is the derivative of Z with respect to r? Derivative of r with respect to r is 1 e to power I theta, as it is into delta r. You will get plus dou z by dou theta r into I e to power I theta. R as it is, derivative of e to power I theta is I into e to power I theta delta theta. Okay, now this is your delta z. This is your delta z. Okay, now this delta z can turn to 0 in two ways. Either delta r should turn to in two ways. How you can take it? First, either you can consider delta z to be equal to only this, considering delta theta to be 0. Next, you can consider delta r to be 0 and let delta z be equal to only this, like how we did in the previous case for CR equations in Cartesian form. The same way we do here. Only up till this step you need to be little cautious. It is not that easy as like we did in the previous. So now f dash of z will be limit. Okay, before going to this, we must say what is my delta z. So let delta z be equal to e to power I theta delta r, so that your delta theta is completely 0. So there is not going to be any change in delta theta. I mean, there is not going to be any change in theta. Theta is going to be, considering theta to be constant. Okay, so you will have it something like this. Okay, so delta theta is 0. So let us consider this. So it will be f dash of z is equal to limit. I need a little more space to write this. So f dash of z is equals to limit as delta z tending to 0 u of r plus delta r comma theta, because there is no change in theta, delta theta is 0. So minus u of r theta plus, this is the real part, I into the imaginary part, okay, divided by delta z. I am considering delta z as e to power I theta into delta r. Okay, so e to power I theta, I can take it outside and I can write it as e to power minus I theta over here. Limit, now delta z is tending to 0. Since delta z is equal to e to power I theta into delta r, here delta r must tend to 0, is it? So let us rewrite everything once again. So these are some minute things that we should write all the time. It takes little more time to do. Okay. Sorry, you should write theta over here. Okay. So the real part. So u of r theta plus delta r, sorry, u of r plus delta r comma theta minus u of r theta and all this divided by delta r. I hope everything is clear to you. Okay. Now this is nothing but dou u by dou r. This is nothing but dou v by dou r. So e to power I minus I theta outside. This is dou u by dou r plus I as it is dou v by dou r. You call this as equation, this I am going to call as equation 1. So this is your equation 2. So substituting in equation 2. In equation 2 we had done this. So this is my equation 3. Okay. So this is going to be my equation 3. So make a note. So we will work with the rest part. Now in the next part, let us consider delta z to be wholly depending on delta theta, considering there is no change in r. So r is going to be constant for me. So delta z, let delta z be now this part alone, r into I e to power I theta delta theta. Or you can say one thing, considering delta z to be, because there is going to be an imaginary part with this as well. That's why I didn't mention it. In previous case, we considered delta z to be wholly real, wholly imaginary, is it not? But I cannot say the same thing here because both terms contain I. This also contains I in hidden form. It is cos theta plus I sin theta into delta r. So I cannot say that. So I only can say that let delta r directly 0, so that there is no change in r. Okay, delta r is 0, so r is going to be constant, and delta theta is turning 0 only because of delta theta. Okay, it will change because of only delta theta. Only that you should remember. So delta r is 0, so you are getting delta z like this. Okay, so it will be, let us consider our f dash of z in equation 2. We will do this in equation 2. Okay, so f dash of z will be limit as delta z tending to 0, u of r comma theta plus delta theta. This time delta r is 0, so no need to write it. U of r theta plus I into, this is the real part, V of r comma theta plus delta theta minus V of r theta divided by r into I e to power I theta delta theta. In place of delta z, I am replacing it that way. Now, except this I am going to take the remaining r into e to power I theta. I am going to take it outside this. I and e to delta theta, I will keep it inside here. Okay. Then later we'll do the changes with that. Okay. So you have e to power minus I theta because it was in the denominator. When I take it common and outside in the numerator, it becomes e to power minus I theta divided by r because yes, it's there already in the denominator. Now take a bracket. Limit as delta z tending to, this is happening with the theta, so I can write directly delta theta tending to 0 this time. Okay, because I have already replaced everything. So now u of r comma theta plus delta theta minus u of r theta plus real part, the imaginary part, divided by I into delta theta. Okay, so now complete this bracket as well. So it is e to power minus I theta divided by r as it is. Now delta theta tending to 0 to this limit as delta theta is there in the denominator. If you separate and do it, you can do it. But at this stage also we can do that. It will be dou u by dou theta into 1 by I is there still. Okay. Plus, now again I and I gets cancelled here. Look at this. If you separate that term, it will be dou v by dou theta alone. Okay. Now 1 by I. What is 1 by I? 1 by I is minus. Okay. So what is 1 by I? It's minus I. Okay. 1 by I is minus I. So I'll replace it by that. E to power I theta divided by r minus I into dou u by dou theta plus dou v by dou theta. Okay, I'll take r inside and rewrite this. E to power minus I theta minus I dou u by dou theta into 1 by r or I by r plus 1 by r dou v by dou theta. Okay, equation 3 we had already done. So this is my equation 4. Okay. So now compare your equation 3 with equation 4. You see that e to power minus I theta and e to power minus I theta, it's there in both the side, both the equations. So you need not consider it. Remaining part is after cancelling e to power minus I theta from both the equations 3 and 4, just compare it. Both should be, they both are representing f dash of z. Okay, so equate both. So you will see that e to power minus I theta and e to power minus I theta will get cancelled, and you just have to compare the real and imaginary parts. And when you compare it, you will find that these CR equations you will obtain. Okay, just compare and write it. So from equation 3 we had got left hand side, the equation 4 is your right hand side. Okay, so these two terms are you can easily cancel. Now see, compare the real part. This is the real part in this part, and here this is the real part. So what you are getting dou u by dou r as? Dou u by dou r is 1 by r dou v by dou theta, that is this equation. Okay, now what is the imaginary part? You are getting dou v by dou r, that is the imaginary part of the equation 3. Equation 4 imaginary part is minus 1 by r dou u by dou theta. So these are your CR equations in polar form. So this completes the derivation of CR equations in polar form. In my next session, we'll continue with the problems on this. Okay, I'll let you know when to put z as r into e to power I theta when it is necessary, and when it becomes a polar form, then you always need a CR equations in polar form. That's why we derived them, and you need to remember or memorize these equations. It is better. Okay, let us continue in my next session. Thank you till then.